Throughout my educational career, I would always tell students, never confuse struggle with failure. But we know that students struggle, and it's especially apparent now as we see nationally, and I speak to colleagues in high schools in the entire Chicagoland area. Students are struggling, even some of the best students. And that's why we are committed before this pandemic, during it, and well after, to make a large school district small, to personalize education for students, to assist them with their struggle and through their struggle, to have a positive outcome for every student, no matter who they are. A student who struggled with academics, or an academically inclined student who's struggling for the first time. That's the commitment of our district, and really, that's our commitment to you as parents.
So the idea of an intervention time is actually something that we were talking about before the spring happened, before COVID, before we had to go into remote learning. We were already talking about wanting to make sure all of our students were learning at high levels. This learning environment gave us the opportunity to actually schedule that into our day. And now we're working on how can we make that most effective for all of our students and all of our teachers and make it a systemic part of what we do at all times. So we built this intervention time into the schedule to ensure that teachers have an opportunity to connect with students and catch them before they fall behind in their learning in the class. So teams of teachers teaching the same course, they meet regularly, they talk about where students are in their learning, they talk about where they see students struggling, especially groups of students. And then during this intervention time, we target those students to bring them in and do some reteaching, some additional examples, maybe just give them some guided practice so that they get caught up and they're on track going forward.
We also offer additional support from 1 until 3 o'clock. We really want to promote to students that that is still a part of your academic day. During that time, teachers are meeting with students to support the material that we may have gone over for the day that students might need a little extra support on. We oftentimes reach out to students and parents at that time, make phone calls, hold study sessions for tests that might be coming up, and have drop-ins for students if they want to join the Google Meet for any questions or concerns they might have on their homework or studying for upcoming assessments.
So usually I'll have the kids come in. Some of them just want to work on homework and you be there so that if they get stuck somewhere they can ask a question. Other students need extra problems, like they're just starting to get it and you need to make up a problem on the fly for them to give some extra practice. But if they're at home by themselves doing that and they don't have someone to say, hey, that's where the mistake is, sometimes they get discouraged, they stop and they don't continue on. So you being there to say, you got it, keep going, you can do it, kind of a cheerleader along the way. I have a boy who had an F and he's up to a C now. I mean, he did like a couple of homework assignments and took and passed a test with a pretty high grade, and it's like his grade really changed. And I think the opportunity that we have in the afternoons to get the extra help helps those kids who would normally need that and it wouldn't be available.
So I do feel meeting with students is extremely important in terms of students taking ownership of their learning. So having an opportunity for students to reach out to teachers when needed is beneficial because students might not feel comfortable asking in front of a whole class. So I look at that as an opportunity for a student to self-advocate for themselves, but also to build that student-teacher relationship. I have seen the benefits of it. Students feel excited about their learning. They are excited to get the one-on-one attention or even small group attention. And any motivation we can give students to help them feel successful is a win in my eyes.
We have intervention days where we're also identifying students by grade level who are struggling, bringing those students in to try to get them back on track, get them moving again. We know a lot of our students are struggling with not being in the classroom, not having actual personal contact with their teacher every day. So those intervention days where we bring students in for 2 or 3 days at a time to just give them some personal contact, give them a support system to keep them moving and get them back on track with their classes. Students are getting caught up on work, they're getting a little bit like additional instruction, and that's getting them moving forward also.
It's been absolutely amazing how teachers have reached out, what students are going to be there, what type of work could we give these students to help them make up the things that they may have missed. And let's face it, at the end of the day, these are children that we're dealing with. And they're going to make mistakes just like we would as adults, and we have to be there to help them and support them along the way. Sometimes you have to go to the student's residence to find out what's going on. How could we best support you? We've had instances where students might not have internet capabilities, where our technology department has been able to offer them a hotspot to find ways that they could get online. And sometimes you just have to go to the source to figure out what's going on, because every student matters, and we have to have every single student accounted for.
We've all been thrown into this pandemic and we've all had to make adjustments, but use this as an opportunity to grow and learn a little bit about yourself. So try to find the positives in everything and look to see what this situation can do for you and how it can help you grow as a person currently and in your future.
Don't give up. It's rough. This is a tough, challenging year, but don't give up, and know that there's people here in your corner, whether you know it or not, that are more than willing to help you and more than willing to do whatever they can, and that goes for at home, or it goes in school as well. You know, they have teachers and deans and counselors. They have so many different people in school that are more than willing, that if you ask, we'll do what we can to help you out.
One of the biggest things I envision is that we've had this school structure for over 100 years in America, and this is how we do things. I think we'll see some fundamental changes after this. I envision that we will see more of a drive and more of a push from schools and school districts to try and reach out to our students, whether they're in the school day or they're outside of the school day. I think you're going to see more of those types of things occur.
We don't anticipate this program going away. It may look differently as we learn more and we put more into place, but the whole idea of teacher teams that are talking about learning, talking about where students are doing well and how we can build on that, and talking about where students are struggling and how we can catch them before it's too late, that's part of our process to ensure learning for all of our students. One of the most important things to remember is we'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
We'll get through it.
You can do it.
You could do it.
You can do it.
You can do it.